Today I'm going to be reading you guys the book The Wind Garden by Angela McAllister and Claire Fletcher. Grandpa lived at the top of a high house. His old legs wouldn't take him up and down the long staircase anymore. So he stayed at home. Ellie came to visit every day. "I miss the park, Ellie," said Grandpa. "I miss walking in the gardens." So Ellie brought some seeds and flower pots. Together they planted the seeds, put them out on Grandpa's roof, and waited. The seeds sprouted. They grew thin little stems and tiny leaves. But out on the roof, the wind was always blowing. The seedlings couldn't grow in the wind, and they died. "That bad old wind," said Ellie. "Where does it come from, Grandpa?" "No one can guess," said Grandpa. "Nobody knows where the wind comes from, where the wind goes." Ellie wanted a garden for Grandpa. She brought him some strong sunflowers. Together, they put them out on the roof and watered each one. The flowers grew up and up toward the sun. But out on the roof, the wind was always blowing. It rocked the sunflowers harder and harder until their tall stems broke. "That wicked old wind," said Ellie. "Where is it blowing to, Grandpa?" "No one can guess. Nobody knows where the wind comes from and where the wind goes," said Grandpa. "I think that old wind is just trying to tell me I live too high in the sky for a garden." That night, Ellie stayed at Grandpa's house. In bed, she could hear the wind. With a strong blow, it pushed the window open. Ellie climbed out onto the roof. The wind danced around her. Round and round it rushed until Ellie was dancing too. Then, with a great gust, the wind lifted Ellie up off Grandpa's roof and into the starry sky. "I'm going to where the wind blows." Ellie laughed, and she wished Grandpa were flying too. Soon she came to a little wood on a mountaintop. The wind gently set her down. Everywhere the trees were hung with things the wind had carried away. Kites and balloons, hats and handkerchiefs, colored flags, church bells, and lost laundry. It was the wind's garden. The wind blew proudly. It made everything flutter and dance. It made everything rustle and chime, swinging, spinning, shimmering in the sun. Ellie whirled among the trees. If only Grandpa could see the wind garden. Ellie saw a kite she had lost long ago. As she took its tail, the wind lifted her up and carried her back to Grandpa's house. The next day, Grandpa sat remembering on his empty roof. Ellie brought out a box. Together they pulled out flags and chimes, windmills and bells. "Here is your garden, Grandpa," she said. "Here is a garden to share with the wind." Out on the roof, the wind was always blowing. It made everything swing, spin, and shimmer in the sun. Grandpa smiled. "No one can guess. Nobody knows where the wind comes from, where the wind goes." But somebody knew. Ellie knew where the wind blew, but she wasn't going to tell.